Welcome, everyone. I know it's Tuesday night, and I welcome you all. Thank you for showing up. So usually it's on Wednesday night, so I welcome you all to Fundamentals to Gain Inner Peace with your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. And tonight, we're going to be discussing a little bit of stillness, a little bit quiet. Some people love it, some people hate it. We'll talk about it in a minute. How to embrace the stillness. And in the beginning, it might be hard for many. So before we start, I would like to welcome our sponsor tonight, OK Clarity. OKClarity.com is the place to find top-notch therapists, coach, or nutritionists. Their professionals are vetted and have extensive experience working with the Jewish community. If you're in the market for a therapist, coach, or the like, or if you're a wellness professional looking to get more online exposure, go check them out. They also have an amazing WhatsApp status with thousands of followers. Join them, it's free, 917-426-1495. That's 917-426-1495. Okay, so let's get grounded. Take a deep breath and become aware of where you are. Where am I? Where am I coming from? What did my day look like? How do I feel? And we might need to let go of whatever is going on. And let's reflect. How was Shavuos? What worked? What didn't? We're not going to change anything now. We're just looking back to see, how did I take it? What were my expectations? Did I have any, or maybe not? Listening to last week's guided meditation, was I able to connect, to feel part of Hashem's nation, and feel that you received the Torah? You yourself, did you feel it, that I received the Torah? Or maybe it's an idea that we know, but we don't really feel it. It's something we do every year, or maybe every day, for those who learn, but we don't really feel connected. Sometimes you need to listen to that meditation a few times to slowly, just to get into it. It takes time to get the ideas and to start feeling it. And then there are those who, when they listen to it, it does bring up past triggers. They might have to clear some beliefs that we picked up from the past. And it's important to be aware of it. If it's hard to listen to it, we don't believe the ideas. It's a belief, and you must have picked it up somewhere. And sometimes we need to let go and learn how to first realize it's a belief. And we need to clear some blocks, clear some beliefs that we have so we can let go. And then we can feel the unconditional love. Unconditional love. There many people have questions. Is it truly unconditional? Or maybe it's only conditional if I do the right thing. So it's something to talk about. And we did mention that by Kabbalah HaTorah, when Hashem gave the Torah, the world stopped. I don't know if you can imagine, everything stops. Sometimes when there's a blackout, even the noise from the lights, the fridge, no noise at all. It became quiet. The world was still. And all they heard was the truth. Was Hashem, what Hashem said, Anochi, Hashem Lekecha. When the truth comes out, it's like, I'm behind all of this. I am doing everything. I am running the world. So when it's quiet, the truth comes out. So that we're talking about being very quiet, brings up this idea, this concept. Some people have a hard time of being in that space of just nothing going on, being in that quiet space. So it's important. Everybody's different personalities. Everybody feels different. And it could be that you love when it's quiet, in the middle of the night, no one around, no phones, no technology. And that's the time that you thrive. You just love it. There are some people who just love quiet. They might stay home all day. They don't want to go out, see others. It could be. And then there are people who just can't take a split second of dull moments, like, oh, what's next? What's next? They become anxious, and they're, listening to tonight's class might be very hard. Tell me to stop. They're scared. What comes up, we'll see in a few minutes, we'll discuss 5 different reasons why people have a hard time stopping being in that space of quietness. But first, to be aware, where am I? Do I love noise? Am I always busy? Or no, I love when it's quiet. I don't like when people are around myself. And you can sit there for hours. The truth is, what we need is the balance. Too much from sitting all day in quiet, that's not what we were looking for. And to be all day in external with things going on is also not so good. What we have to learn is we need some time in the quiet moments so we can reconnect and then go back. So first, what are some benefits? Why would I want to learn how to, and why am I interested to understand that there is a good reason to slow down? And if you've been with us, we've started. We're doing tonight class number 78. If you go back, I think it was class number 1 or 2. You can look at the recordings, which we have the recordings on menachembernfeld.com. We discussed going into the alpha state. Deep breath, slowing down, and you go into a different place. You're not so connected with what's going on in the outside world. And we discussed creativity, not to be in the fight and flight modes, which many are constantly in fight and flight. Back and forth. What do I have to do? Why? Back, answering emails, doing this, finishing my list. What did I do? What didn't I do? What does he want? What does he want? It's always being on guard, fight and flights, and can't stop and let go. And that's could be stressful. Sometimes it doesn't have to be external stress, not conscious stress, but it's subconscious. That means even if you're sitting on the couch and it looks like you're relaxing, very possible that you're not. Your mind is racing. There's so much you have to do. And your body is tense. You don't realize it. And it looks like you're relaxing on the couch. So that's deep down subconscious. So number 1, to get out of the fight and flight mode. Be able to take a deep breath and relax. It increases your mindfulness. We discussed the past few weeks to become mindful. What am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Where am I? Being in the present moment. And that improves mental clarity. We can think straight. We know what's going on. What am I anxious about? What could I do about it? Or I can't. It helps us slow down so we can see what's going on. And really overall well-being for the people that try it. After a few days, a few weeks, they feel different. Things look different. It's a good idea to start trying it even for a minute, just to slow down. Like I always mention, you don't have to start with 5 minutes. You can start with a minute, but to be able to be 5 minutes in a room without anything, no books, nothing to read, just be there and focus on your breath, breathing in and out, in and out. So you can start with a minute. And for some, it does take time. But that's really where you can become aware. Many people become aware that it's hard for them. It's like, what, doing nothing? I can't. So what are some of the reasons that we're going to discuss tonight? 5 reasons that people do not like when it quiets down, when they slow down, when it's quiet. So let's explore them. And while we go through them, you can, if something comes up, write it down. If you think, oh, that's me. Well, again, we're not changing anything tonight. We're just becoming aware. See where I am. How do I feel? So number one is personality. We all know extroverts and introverts. Some like to be out with friends all day, and some like to be home all day. So if somebody is an extrovert, so automatically they want to be part of the noise, social interactions, what's going on. There needs to be excitement. So for them, you can imagine when things slow down and they come into a calm environment, they're like, let's go, what's going on over here? I need some noise. Hello, hello, anybody around? So that's an awareness to see when you go into that room where it's quiet, it's hard. You might feel bored, you might feel under stimulated, you need some stimulation. So that's number one, just become aware of it. If you're an extrovert and you love the social interactions, you love the excitement, the noise, then it's very simple to understand that when things calm down, they slow down, it quiets down, everything closes, the store closes, your phone closes, everybody's sleeping, you automatically feel those feelings. And that could be hard. So that's number one. Number two, some people, when it quiets down, when it's quiet, when they're in that space of just stillness, when there's nothing going on, they feel bored. Like, why in the world? Let me find something to do. And maybe even deeper, a sense of emptiness. And again, this could be very deep. You spend some time to see what are the thoughts that come up. They're sitting themselves alone with your thoughts. And we shared many times, that's one of the ways to become aware of your thoughts. We want to know what's going on and what's going on in your mind. What are your thoughts telling yourself, about the environment? Your thoughts might be racing, it might be focusing on negative. But again, those are thoughts. To become aware of your thoughts, go into a quiet place. Slowly, you will be there with your thoughts. And that is scary for many. It could be very scary. So you don't have to start with 5 minutes. You can start with one, but become aware of your thoughts. What are those thoughts that come up? What are those thoughts that you're scared of, that you don't want to sit with? So again, you try it out, see what comes up. And again, that's a reason why it could be very challenging. And these people want to be distracted. They always want to be distracted just so that they don't sit and confront their thoughts. So that's number two, confronting your thoughts, and it can be hard. Number three is social, or sometimes it's a cultural thing. We discussed it a few times. If we see people that are not busy, or when you're not busy, what does that mean? That means you're probably not part of society. You know, you have that pressure that people are going to think you're doing nothing. You're wasting your time. You're not being productive. And what are they going to think if they see me and they think about me that I'm unproductive? So especially when there's people around that you're doing nothing, that could be very hard. What are they going to think? But we're going to go even deeper. What are you thinking about yourself when you see yourself? Just sitting and relaxing, taking a deep breath and just being, doing nothing. That's right. What comes up when you do nothing? And there might be a voice inside of you saying, I better continue. I don't look productive. I don't feel productive. I only feel good when I'm busy. I only feel good about myself when I'm busy. So I have to keep myself busy. And if I stop for a few minutes, I'm worthless. What am I doing? Why am I here? And all of those thoughts come up. But basically, is the only time I feel good about myself is when I am moving around and doing. When I'm a human doing, I feel good. Human being, I don't like it. I don't like myself where I am. We're used to doing all day. And when we stop, those thoughts come up. I have to be productive. Now, if you're a high achiever, sometimes these are the thoughts that come up. You might have a list of 25 things you do every day, and you finish the list. And that sounds amazing. And it is amazing, isn't it? Why should somebody stop? But do a challenge. Try to see where it comes from. Why are you constantly trying to be busy? Is it coming from a healthy place that it's something that you want? It might be coming from social, cultural, neighbors, friends, family. And deep down, really, it's yourself. I only feel good when at the end of the day, I did crazy things. I did so many, the list is full, chesed for so many people. I only feel good when I finish that full list. But if I don't do it, I feel something's missing. I don't feel good about myself. So should I stop doing chesed? Am I advocating to stop doing chesed? No. But I want you to become aware of why you're doing it. Is it from your own conscious decision that you decided you want to do it, or you have to do it? You don't have an option. You can't let go. And if I would tell you one day, don't do that, you will have a hard time breathing, hard time being with yourself. I can't let go. So how do I really know if it's coming from a healthy place, from a decision that you made? It's if you could decide one day not to do it. But if you need to do it every day, if you have to constantly do it, it's on your list, and you don't have an option of not doing it, it might be coming from somewhere else. Something to stop and think about. And it might be you're walking around with stress. And if you would have the option, if anybody would give you permission not to do it, you might decide not to do it because you can't. It's too much for you. Or if you would believe that you're still okay, even if you don't finish that list, even if it's cut in half, you're there for your family, for your spouse, for the people around you, and you can't be out with all the organizations helping them. You're still okay. But then I don't feel good about myself. The things that you're doing, they're too small for you. You have to do those big things to feel good. That's an awareness. So that's another one, to see, why am I doing this? Am I doing it for myself, something that I want, or that's how I feel because of other people? And deep down, because I don't feel good about myself, only if I do A, B, and C. Okay, the next one is, it becomes a habit. We become so used to the noise that when we stop, it's hard. It's like an addiction. There is so much going on, overstimulation. With technology, if you have your phone on you, with so much going on, so much information, constant communication, always available. You always need to be available. And you become used to being in that state, always being part of things that are going on, part of the noise, knowing what's going on. So when that stops, we're taking away a big part of something that you're used to. You become used to it. So you become addicted to it. So that's another reason why it could be hard for people to slow down, take an hour without your phone, Take a walk in nature, there's nothing going on. You might feel lost. You become addicted, you become used to one way. Going to the other way is hard. That's another reason. And number 5 is what most people know called FOMO, fear of missing out. I have to be there. I have to know what's going on. Because if I don't know what's going on, what's going to be? How do you feel? What's going to happen? So we start feeling anxious. If we sit in one place, it's quiet, we feel like we're missing out. So we look at our phone. Oh, now we catch up. Oh, this is going on, this is going on. And they're sharing, they're posting, and they're, okay, so I'm part of it. And now I know what's going on by my friends. I know what's going on in the world. I know what's going on. Nobody's calling me. Somebody's calling me. Did I miss some calls? Try being without your phone for a half hour and then you come back. Did I miss anything? No one called. No one. No one called. Or you missed 5 calls. So it's a fear. It is a real thing. Fear of missing out. You always have to be part of. Following whatever's going on. And if not, become aware of what comes up. We start feeling anxious. And I have to be there. I have to be part of it. Because if not, you finish the lines. What happens if I'm not part of it? What are you scared of? So little kids have it with their situations. They have to be up late to see what's going on. It's hard for them to go to sleep. And older people have it with their phone and the news and online to see every few minutes, just to make sure that the world is still standing. You just have to make sure. And that you know what's going on, because if not, ... what are you going to feel? So that's the FOMO. So here we are, 5 reasons why it could be hard for people to slow down. And to become aware, what's that one thing? Or 2 things. Why is it hard for me? And if it's something you haven't thought of, try it out. Do this experiment. Go into an empty room with nothing inside, nothing in your pockets that you can pull out in the middle, no phones, and just sit there and see what happens. See how you feel and see what it is. Is it your thoughts? What are those thoughts coming up? Is it FOMO? Is it you can't just sit there? What should I do here? People ask me what I should do. I tell them breathe. Doesn't make sense. Just focus on your breath. Makes it a little bit easier. Maybe you might feel unproductive. There's so much I have to do. I can't just stop. Or it feels very bored. People tell me, boring. I can't. Why should I put myself in a place where it's so, it is really boring. But to understand what are the benefits, what are we looking for? If you're constantly looking for that stimulation, that means it could be very possible you're always in the fight and flight mode, always subconscious stress. And it could be you're not aware of it. So you might say, if I'm not aware of it, why should I become aware of it? So we've discussed it many times. It comes out physically, the way you feel. You might feel overwhelmed, and the stress comes out with back pain or other pains that come up different ways. But that's why it is important. First of all, become aware. We're not going to change it overnight. But to understand what we are looking to be able to relax a little bit, our human nature, to be in a relaxed state, we need to be in a neutral state. Nothing going on. Most of the day, there's a lot going on. A little bit, you should be in a place where you just are. You are, whatever it is, nothing has to change. Take a deep breath. Yes, a lot of negativity can come up. So you learn how to focus on the positive. But the first step is to become aware of all the negative stuff that come up. And those are the thoughts. Write them down. Before we finish, also in Nach, There's a famous song, Loi Barash Hashem, I think from Rachmiel Begun. They have the idea of when you want to connect, looking for Hashem. First, you might hear the noises of a rash or a ruach. You might think, oh, this is it. And then you find out, no, this is not what we're looking for, because behind it, Yachar Rash, Ruach, and then Eish. So you have Ruach, Eish, and Rash, everything. When it's there, you think this is it. But then you find out there's something behind it. Until you come to a place called Koil de Mamadaka. Very, very tiny voice, very quiet. And if you want to connect to that, the only time you can really connect to it is if you are in that space. If we're always with Rash, always with Ruach, always with Aish, there's so much stimulus going on, then we can't connect. To be able to connect is quiet everything down, quiet your mind. Realizing your mind is racing, pulling you all the sides, quiet your minds, so that you can slowly hear that voice, connect to the voice. But it's not easy, because we become aware of our own voices that could be negative, racing, anxious, worried, whatever the voice is. So first become aware of that. And if we can become aware of that and not get scared, we can slowly be with the Koil de Mamadaka. So with that, we'll end. The mitzvah will continue next week, Wednesday nights. Some options. What are some techniques to be able to relax our minds? For those who have one of these 5 reasons that they're scared to relax, how to slowly find the balance. Doesn't mean you have to spend all day by yourself, quiet, walking around like a zombie, nothing going on. That's not what we're talking about. Finding the balance to have time that you're busy in the world, busy out there doing what you need to do, and then some time for yourself, some time just to be. And we'll learn some techniques, and maybe we'll do some, I don't know if it's called yoga or some body movement, slowly moving it side to side, just becoming aware of how it feels. And that helps us to become present in the moment, in the now, and slowly we become aware of how we feel, which is what we're looking for, because that a lot of it comes from what we think, what we feel, and that's what we do, and that's who we are. So thank you very much for showing up on this Tuesday night. We'll see you, Menachem, next week on Wednesday nights. Again, the recordings are available at menachembernfeld.com. And any questions? If you're trying some experiment, you're not sure if it's the right thing, you're not sure if you're doing it right, feel free to send the email, coachmenachem@gmail.com, and hopefully we'll get a chance to answer your questions. Have a great night and a beautiful week. We'll see you next week at Wednesday. Thank you.